What up, guys? Kevin here. Viral video shows workers not taking deliveries without tips sparks debate. We can pick and choose. I do deliveries on the side, so I feel like I got a say in this. And let's just go over the story first here. So, a Doordash employee is causing a stir after showing dozens of untouched orders in McDonald's. It can be frustrating when you order food from a food delivery service or app like Postmates or Doordash, and you get the dreaded notification that there is no one available to pick up your order, and thus it must be canceled. Look at that. Holy crap. I have never seen that. This must be in some big city. Jeez. I mean, yeah, something's really got to change here. I do side with these restaurants just can't be making food like this. That just go to waste. But sometimes this doesn't mean that there isn't anyone working who's available to pick up your food. It can mean that the couriers working simply don't want to. New viral TikTok is shedding light on what happens when a customer doesn't select the option to tip on a Doordash order. TikTok user Jordan, the model who works for Doordash, posted a video explaining that since Doordash workers are independent contractors, they are not legally bound to pick up every order that is requested. That's absolutely right. We're independent contractors. We don't work for DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, you name it. Basically, we work for ourselves, and there's think of it as video games. There's a bulletin board in the middle of town in the video game that has a bunch of quests you can do, or you can choose not to do. It's up to you to decide. Just think of the bulletin board as these apps sending offers our way, and we get to choose whether to accept or decline. We can pick and choose which orders we want to take, so if you don't tip us, we don't have to take your order, she says. When you don't tip, your order just sits there. Yep, it really does. Look, are we saying tipping's mandatory? No, it's not. You do not have to tip. But just understand that whoever's delivering your food and you don't tip is a sucker, because those offers come in about $2, $3. I'm in Arizona where minimum wage is $12 and change. And it might be one thing if it's it's just $2. I'm literally picking it up and going across the street. I can bust that out in 5 minutes. No, a lot of the time, these restaurants, they either don't receive the orders, they'll just wait till the driver shows up because they want to prevent situations where food is just stacking up and they want to make sure someone's going to pick up the order. So that $2, $3 order can sometimes take, I think on average, my average time for deliveries is probably about 25 minutes. I do certain apps that are a lot slower than others, but yeah, I am not spending nearly a half hour taking a $2 offer. I'm just not. Nope. You would have to be the biggest sucker to do that. Now, I get the whole thing we can just tip at the end of the delivery. We got to make sure the service is great. However, time is very finite. When you're working these apps, it's not I'm just going to go do some delivery. I'll go do some $2, $3 deliveries, and it'll all add up to me making hundreds, thousands of dollars a week. No, you ain't going to make thousands unless you live in a certain market or you put in crazy amount of hours. But yeah, our time is valuable. Our vehicles are valuable, and doing this job really runs your car into the ground. I don't think people understand just how much this job, any delivery job, just destroys your vehicle. And not just the normal wear and tear. When I was doing deliveries full time, I would have to get new tires every year, just new brakes and all the oil changes. That's just the normal stuff. Then just all the other stuff that just speeds up, just accelerates because you're doing so much driving. That other wear and tear, new belts, Jesus, had to get a new clutch and radiator fans. That stuff is so expensive. So expensive. So, I mean, if you're doing this job, if you know how to work on vehicles, man, that will save you a lot. But yeah, when that $2, $3 offer comes through, to us drivers, it says, you didn't tip. And we don't expect you to tip. We don't. We're not going to play a guessing game where, well, I hope they tip at the end, or I hope they leave a cash tip. I know some people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people are cheap asses. They want food on the cheap. A lot of times they're getting delivery because, they're too lazy to order food and they don't want to be spending money. And these apps do charge a lot. They may be charging you quite a bit and you go like, oh yeah, you're getting like $6-7 here. No, these companies need to get paid. They don't do it for free. So yeah, it comes through as a $2, $3 offer. And I just laugh. I think it's disrespectful. I think maybe there needs to be a better PSA out there saying, hey, these are what the orders come through to drivers. And it's not just, oh, we're driving right to the restaurant that's right across the street and we're delivering it across the street. No, these orders can be pretty far. We could be pretty far from the restaurant. And a lot of times what I see them do is if they don't pick up your order, they will tie it to like a bigger offer. I see Uber Eats do it all the time where, I'll get like a $12 offer, but it'll be 2 deliveries. And it's always, I know one of them is probably someone who didn't tip. And it's probably one of these McDonald's offers that's not getting picked up. Let's go back to the story. So Jordan moves over in the screen and reveals a photo of dozens of McDonald's bags sitting in a room that are untouched and lined up, implying that no Dashers would pick up the orders since the customers did not tip. What's interesting is I thought like McDonald's, I know some restaurants, like their order won't trigger unless the driver is near the restaurant. So I don't know. That's crazy. Because fast food, here's a tip. When you order fast food, drivers hate it. It's not fast. A lot of fast food places, they will absolutely not start making it until the driver arrives. And then when the driver arrives, something weird happens where they take care of the drive-thru first and they take care of in-store customers and just drivers are left last. I don't know. The disrespect is real. We got a little bit of respect when all the restaurants closed down or couldn't allow in-store pickup or ordering from customers. And then they love us then. They got our food out right away. That's when we made quite a bit of money. But now it's back to, it's a Doordash driver. Yeah, screw them. They're not the customer. Yeah, there's a whole section dedicated to people who don't tip and their order just sits there. Went over that. Yeah, Dashers are not waitresses. The power dynamics is on the Dasher side. One commenter said, you are bidding for their time. They are not bidding to service you. Yep. Again, time is very finite. If I go out for like 2 hours and I'm taking your $2 offer, it's just dumb. That's just really bad. Bad economics. That's just, we're going to be homeless. I call them homeless orders. I just see like those $2, $3 orders. I'm like, oh, you're trying to make me homeless. Again, I get it. People tip afterwards, and I understand wanting to tip afterwards because I completely understand that these apps suck sometimes. The order's always wrong. I've learned that restaurants, especially managed by kids who they don't care if they get fired. It'd probably be best news if they got fired so they can go home and play video games or do whatever. I did a pickup the other day and it had like 2 Red Bulls. And the dude gave me the bag and the bag was like stapled. I was like, oh, there are 2 Red Bulls in there? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, can you check for me? He's like, oh, I think it's in there. Then I'm walking out and I'm like crunching the bag to feel the Red Bulls. And I just didn't feel it. I'm just like, hey, you need to open this bag and make sure the Red Bulls are there. And they weren't. Went back and got them. So, like, I feel bad for customers who always get stuff wrong. I would say, it is on the drivers to make sure everything's there. But a lot of times they're giving us just basic bags with just in styrofoam, and then we're not going to take apart your order. We're not going to undo your cheeseburger to make sure they added the extra pickles. But, I always say, it's the restaurant's fault when stuff is missing, unless it's something that's like, all right, it obviously says it comes with the soda. I'm not arriving with the soda. That's on me. In a restaurant, I tip after the service. Another road, Doordash, Uber Eats, I tip before because they using their gas. I'm not using mine. I'm paying to not leave the house. Yeah, we are using our vehicle. And I just paid over $4 a gallon. What is really scary, anyone who's doing this job, especially if you're doing it full time, wages, like the price of everything's increased. Not only the price of everything, the wages have increased everywhere. I just drove by like a Dairy Queen. I'm like, started at $14 an hour. I was like, holy no way. But inflation's gone up. People don't want to work, so wages are increasing everywhere. Except people aren't tipping more. And they don't want to tip because inflation is crazy. They don't have the money for it. And these apps are not giving us extra money. They didn't bump up our pay. They didn't go, you know what, Kevin? Yeah, we see that your market is paying way more in gas this year. So we're going to charge an extra, 10 cents, 20 cents from the customer per mile to help cover that. No, they haven't done that. I do think Uber did it once, like years back. I remember like gas went up like temporary and they like sent out an email like, oh, we're increasing the base pay because of gas. I was like, oh, that's nice. I have yet to see that email from any of the customers, and my pay doesn't reflect, the current market. So, yeah, if you know anyone who does this full time, man, it must suck to be them. They probably have to do an extra, like 2 to 3 deliveries a day just to keep up with inflation. So another person said tips are mandatory because if I don't tip, I clearly won't get my food. One pointed out, you may not be saying it, but you're definitely implying it. Yeah, obviously tips are not mandatory. You just placed an order. You're able to place an order. Now, yeah, the other part of the service is, of course, the driver come picking it up, but the driver that does is a sucker. It's probably new. I remember being new to these apps, and it's like, oh, $2 offer, I have to take it, or I'll get fired. People don't understand, like, the position they're in. So, yeah, it is kind of mandatory. It should be mandatory. Now, I always think about, like, well, how can they make tipping mandatory? But I don't know, I always think of different ways. Like, if you don't tip, like, there should be some type of average, like, oh, the average customer tips this. And then, yeah, if you're not tipping, like, of course, maybe not mandatory, but, maybe these apps get a little rude with you. Maybe call you out, call you a cheapskate, set you a reminder like, hey, we noticed your last couple deliveries you didn't tip. Make sure you probably should. These drivers are using their time and their vehicles. Yeah, of course. And that's the thing that really kind of bumps me out is these apps. They're not going to do anything like that just because they need all the money they can get. They don't care if customers don't tip because, there's still quite a big fee for them. So they're getting paid. Others called the concept childish and said that being independent contractors is not an excuse to not perform the service fully. Again, this person doesn't understand what being an independent contractor means, but yeah, hey buddy, come use your vehicle. Start your day paying $25 for gas. which is probably cheap. I drive a really, really crappy Ford Fiesta. So, but yeah, use your own money to pay for your own gas and sit around in a parking lot. You know, summer in Arizona is just miserable. And yeah, have a $2 offer come your way and live by these rules that you're creating. It's like, oh, got to take it. I got to go run, 5 miles over here to this Taco Bell and deliver to this apartment that's 3rd story. No gate code, no nothing. Yeah, live by your own rules. Come do it, buddy. I'll give you my spot for a day. You're the boss as an independent contractor. You have the flexibility and freedom to drive whenever you want, wherever you want, Doordash says of its workers. You make full-time, part-time, or once in a while, and dash practically anywhere. It's a great alternative to seasonal, temporary, and part-time work. Absolutely, it's great work, I'll deliver from these restaurants, and I see the most miserable people. I'm just like, dude, don't you have like a vehicle? Like, come do this, because, the people that don't tip, there is some people that do tip very well and make it worth it. And once you do it for a while, you really learn to work smarter. What areas to work, what restaurants to pick up from. That's probably my biggest gripe is a lot of these restaurants are just not very delivery app friendly. They just don't care about making the order until the driver arrives. And some of these restaurants, a lot of bars, their normal order takes like 30 to 45 minutes. That just kills us. And that 30 to 45 minutes, we're not compensated when that $2 order comes through. We got to wait 45 minutes. No, we still make $2. We'll literally make $2 an hour, which, that's the downside of being an independent contractor, being able to choose your own time to work and what you work is, yeah, you're going to come away maybe being duped and taking that $2 offer, and that's what you make an hour. And you really just beat yourself up. You just feel like a loser. Your self-worth really goes in the toilet when you do take an offer like that. It really does. So, all right. Well, that's really it. Just want to put that out there. Like, yeah, tip in. We watch streamers. They don't stream for free. I know maybe some do, but yeah, they don't sit there and play video games. And I watch DSP, after a night stream or any stream, and he's, only made $25. Yeah, he gets a little angry. He keeps saying it's not mandatory, but yeah, it implied it is. Tipping is, in a sense, mandatory on these apps. If nobody tipped, let's just say this, if nobody tipped on these apps, these services wouldn't exist because no driver would be able to afford to do it. Like, the only drivers you would get is just people who are really stupid. And they're like, yeah, I don't mind. I could do like 8 of these $2 deliveries in an hour. Maybe you can. In my market, you just can't. The Phoenix area is just too big and sprawling. Pickups are always far. The delivery addresses are always far. And the restaurants, again, a lot of them just don't care to get that order made right away. A perfect delivery for me is I get to the restaurant, the order is ready, and then I'm delivering to a house where the address is lit up. But that is very rare. That is like 10, maybe 20% of my offers. All right. I'm done rambling now. I will talk to you guys later. Later.